Hello and welcome to the Automotive Flux channel. So today we're going to be jumping into another rallycross. I think we did Group B last time, so we're going to do RX this time, which means that we get to drive the Fiesta. Yeah, so this is Dirt episode 46, I think? That's a lot of episodes. We're nearing the end of the game now, but as we do that, then comes the question, what do we do after it? So, let's currently talk about what's going on now, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do later. And hold on a minute, my computer has decided to give me some minor issues. Alright, we're back on track now. Okay, so what's currently been going on, I cannot see a thing with all this snow. I like that effect though. So currently what's been going on is we have been doing these complete series for the last like 2 years straight. And I'm still enjoying making them. I really do like playing this game. I love completing games, and I don't get the chance to do it a lot of the time because they don't hold my attention. Like, I never would have beaten this game, and I never would have beaten well, we're not finished this game yet, but I never would have beaten Grid Autosport or Race Driver Grid without having done a series on it. I just never would have played through enough of it. I would have gotten bored pretty quickly and just never finished the game. But because I'm forced to, because I'm making videos on it, it allows me to explore games in more depth than I usually do, and most of the time I kind of just scratch the surface of games. So I guess that kind of brings us to Thursdays. Now Thursdays the last couple weeks have just been random videos, and I'm going to keep that up. I really do like just doing anything instead of focusing on one thing. If I happen to have ideas for games, like if I come up with an idea for Wreckfest, then I'll do more videos on that. But for now I'm just going to keep going with just games that I have in my inventory that I want to play again, and last week it was Sniper Elite, for example. So this week could be anything. I have tons of games. I have 400 games to choose from, so we can get something, I guess. The issue is always time, and the time it takes to make those videos is significant in comparison to the time it takes to make these ones. I've been making them on Thursdays, midday, and then uploading them like later on, or like around dinner time, I guess. Dinner time for me, before heading off to more events in the evening. So it is basically, I just pick a game from my inventory based on how long I think it's going to take me to edit that video to make it into something decent. And so that's what I've been doing. And I'm going to keep going with that. So you may recall a couple of weeks ago I managed to put out a video that was different than the other ones. It was the goodness, what was it called again? It was the I can't afford new consoles video. It's like 6 minutes long. It's on my channel pretty recently, so go watch it if you haven't, because it really didn't get watched very much, which is disappointing. But I think that a natural progression from that kind of thing is starting to delve into longer style videos. And as I've said many times, I want to do essay videos, and I've decided as well that I want to do review videos, which is another thing in itself. So just look forward to that kind of thing in the future. As I said before, I might end up stopping with the completes on Wednesdays, and instead just focus on Thursdays, and then every couple of weeks I'll do like a review video or an essay video instead. So that's my thinking. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to be doing, but that's my idea so far. I have a game that I want to review, and I have the script written down in my head, but the trick is that it's got to go down on paper, and it's got to go down in a cohesive way so that I can say it. and then I have to spend the hours to edit the video, and then obviously it's got to go through the process, is what I'm saying, before it can actually become something. But my idea is pretty simple. I've been watching a lot of review channels for a long time, and I like a specific format, and so I found a lot of channels that hold that format, and so I want to emulate that format, but in my own style. And the first review that I do will be on a very, very short game, so it won't be a very long video, but I think that'll allow me to make my own format, which is pretty important. Like, having your own format is significant, and if I tried to jump into just like a really deep project right away, then I wouldn't really know what direction to take, and therefore the video would be all over the place, and honestly it would probably not get done because I'm a bit of a scattered person as it is, so I wouldn't be able to focus long enough to get it done properly. This guy just went careening off into a wall. That's probably not the right word for that. But anyway, let's talk about the topic of this video. So, 6 minutes in, we're talking about the actual title. Mild clickbait, maybe? So, I recently went out and got a bunch of stuff that I needed to buy for like the next couple months. Basically, I just do that every once in a while. Like, oh, I need, for example, I need lead for my lead pencils at school, so I went and got some of that. But while I was out, I also went to the used game store that I like to go to, and I found something pretty cool. I found Toca Race Driver 2 for the original Xbox, and it came with Colin McRae Dirt 2004, whatever Dirt that is. Actually, hold on, it's Colin McRae Rally 2004, not Dirt. And I played a bit of it. I put in maybe an hour, and it's actually a lot like Race Driver Grid. I was very surprised. The formula is much the same to Race Driver Grid, but I like that formula. I like building up a team and that kind of idea. So it's cool to see that they carried that over through the series. What I'm saying is, I decided to pick that up. It was only $5, basically because I am still thinking about that Codemasters Racing Games series video that I wanted to do. Basically all the Toca games and the Grid games, either in one video or multiple videos, but I'm working on it, and before I do that video I want to play all of the games, and this is kind of just a step in that direction. I spent maybe half an hour at the store just looking through the titles that they have. I went through the PlayStation, I went through the Xbox, I went through the 360, I went through the Wii games. I just went through everything, and that's what stuck out to me the most. So it was also the only Toca game I found there. I'm kind of hoping that I can find the first one and some of the older ones as well at some point. I do have a PlayStation 2 that can play PlayStation 1 games, so even if some of them are old enough to be on that, which I think they are, and even before then, I can still play them, basically is what I'm saying. So yeah, that's the plan there. When it comes to Toca 2, or Toca Race Driver 2, it's actually pretty funny to see some of the 2005 style racing that it has. There are no flashbacks that I can tell, so if you make a mistake then you have to restart, and that sucks. Having flashbacks is such a luxury in these games. Like when I make a mistake in this game, like I did a couple minutes ago, I just flashed that back, did it again, did it properly, and now I'm back in first, and I mean I'm winning by a lot now. So it's yeah, the luxuries we have these days are making games a little bit easier is what I'm saying. But back then, like even for back then, the game is pretty detailed. I really do like the aesthetic so far. It's not it's not a really stylized game, but it definitely has its own... Oh no, are we gonna... Let's try that again. Speaking of flashbacks, the thing is, the only reason to not use flashbacks is, like, I guess my pride. And why I'm saying that is flashbacks only give you more score, which I don't care about. I'm already max level in this game. We've been playing it for like 20 hours now, and I don't need any more score. All I need is to finish this thing. So yeah, that's that. I also got, I was at a thrift store as well, because, I mean, I like to go to thrift stores every once in a while, and I managed to find MX vs. ATV Untamed for the PlayStation 2, and I don't think that that's one of the good MX vs. ATV games, but I have ATV Off-Road Fury 2 for the PlayStation, and I really love that game. Such a classic. I've been playing it for years, and I've never had the MX vs. ATV games, so I finally have one, and it was only $1.50, so it was one of those things that's just a no-brainer. There's no way I'm going to find it for cheaper than that unless it's a yard sale or something. So I decided to pick it up, and I haven't tried it yet. I just haven't had time to hook up the PlayStation, but I'm really looking forward to it. I want to see what that game is like after all these years. I used to like dream about having the MX games when I was a child, but now that I actually have one, I haven't played it yet, and it's been several days. So you can see my priorities have shifted. One thing that I'm definitely going to miss if I stop doing videos like this is just being able to talk about things like I'm doing now. It totally is therapeutic to speak like this, even if I'm just playing a game. Like the multitasking is good, and it's good practice for, well, just anything, but it's also important to be able to talk about things in a cohesive way in the video while doing something else, and that applies to normal conversation as well. Like, I sometimes, not sometimes, but fairly often, struggle with saying things in a way that makes sense, especially when it comes to communicating my ideas in person, more especially if I haven't thought about it ahead of time, then it's even more difficult for me to say the things that I want to say in a way that's clear so that other people can understand it. And that's been an issue for me for a long time, but when I started making these videos, I think you could definitely tell that. And there are definitely some episodes here and there that are filled with me unable to say the things that I want to say clearly, but I think you can tell just this episode so far has been pretty cohesive, at least I think it has been, when it comes to the words that I've been saying and the intent behind them. Like, what I'm saying is what I mean, rather than saying something and going, oh no, that's not what I meant at all. So, not preparing for this at all, other than just saying, okay, maybe I'll talk about this, kind of helps me to be able to get things off the top of my head and then put them into a sentence that works and then say them aloud. And I think that is something I'll be missing a lot if I stop doing these videos. I love the green lights on this car, but what I mean is, I think that maybe, just maybe, we will possibly do a shorter game, because I don't want to lock myself into something crazy. Like, when I tried to play Borderlands 1, I only did 10 episodes, because I just couldn't do any more. I got tired of it, and the game is a huge game. It would have been like a 100 episode series, maybe more, because of all the stuff there is to do. I would have to set a very strict rule of completion if I wanted to complete that game on this channel, because it would just be too much for me to be able to do it the way that I would do it just by myself without recording it. Basically, I'm saying I don't want to lock myself into a long contract where I'm like, okay, I'll finish this game on the channel, and then have to let myself down and let you down by saying, sorry guys, I'm not going to be able to finish this game on the channel, it's just too much. I don't want to have to, go back on what I've said. So if we do start another completes after this game, which we're obviously not done yet, we're going to keep going until all of the races have been done at least once. But if I do another complete series after this game, it's going to have to be on something really short. And I have a couple of games in mind for that. I know there are a few games that I've played that have only been around 2 hours. And think about it this way, we're so far about 20 hours into this game. I think that's how long it's been according to Steam. Obviously not all that is playtime, but it's been about 20 hours, and that's 46 episodes, I think. I should know this. I actually just made a folder on my videos folder for this episode, and I always call it what episode number it is so I don't forget. But I think we're on the 46th episode, and 20 hours, 46 episodes, that's a lot. When it comes to Race Driver Grid, I think I have 34 hours in that game, and I did 67 episodes of that, I think it was. And Grid Autosport, I don't even remember, but that's a lot of time and dedication. And obviously episode length has a lot to do with it. These episodes tend to be a little bit shorter than Race Driver Grid, for instance. I used to do those in the half an hours at some points. And I also did some very long episodes in that game, as well as a full week of Grid, like I called it back then, where I did one whole week of just videos. At least I think it was that game. But the gist of it is, it took me well over a year to play through it on this channel, doing one video a week. And this series, I'm intending to take a full year, so 52 episodes. So we don't want to have to do that again. If I play a 2-hour game and I make 20-minute episodes, an hour is 60 minutes, that's, goodness, math. Oh no, 20 times 3 is 60, so it would be about 6 episodes, give or take. That wouldn't be very long, that would just be 6 weeks of content, right? So that's the kind of stuff that I'm considering, and that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about when I say a shorter series. Because shorter, when you do one video a week, is still going to be 6 weeks, which is a month and a half. That's a decent amount of time. Yeah, so that's that. Basically, the reviews idea is still going to happen though, and I've got a lot of ideas for it, and I've definitely not given up on my my dream to make longer form videos, even though these videos are pretty long. But I mean longer form essay videos. The one that I made, it wasn't the best that I could do, and I definitely feel that I can improve my formula a lot. But I think it takes making at least one video to see that, and having something that I can look back on that I spent X amount of hours on, quite a few hours on, but I'm not sure how many. But having something like that that I can look back on and say, okay, I can do this better in this area, that just means that I can improve in the next one. But when it comes to these ideas, it's all about starting and actually trying it. And having one video done means that the next one is just going to be better, because I'll know what I need to change to make it better, at least in my eyes. And that's sort of what I want to do. So the next video in that series of things, the video essays playlist, although this would actually be a new playlist, is reviews. And I guess we're on the last lap of the last race, I think, so we don't have much time left. But I think that just doing an indie game, just a couple hour indie game, is the best idea for a first one. Like I said, the format is important, and getting everything organized when it comes to format is key. And basically I have to decide what I'm going to do when it comes to direction. So when it comes to reviews, I've seen many different ones. Some of them give a score at the end, for instance. Am I going to give a score? Is he going to give a score? What's it going to be? No, I'm not going to give a score. I already decided that I'm not a fan of scores. Scores for things I like in some ways, but it also kind of makes me more cynical about stuff. Like I'll go and see Black Panther, for instance, like I did, and I see that it has a 7.8 or whatever it is now, or actually back then, back closer to when it came out on IMDb, and that affects my viewpoint of it. I would rather have a video just giving me information that I can decide at the end. Obviously a review is an opinionated piece, and mine would be no different than that, but I'm gonna try and keep some points to like an objective state. Obviously my previous video, we're gonna come second, dang it. Obviously my previous video, the one that I made about consoles, was very subjective and it was very my perspective on things, and that's unavoidable. It's not gonna be totally objective. But I'm gonna try to keep some objective points, and I'll keep some subjective points as well, and just try to have a roundabout review on it, and just try and cover at least the main things, which is easier in a small game, so yeah, we'll get there. Anyway, 2 more weeks of Rallycross, and then we'll be moving on to whatever's left, because I'm not sure. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. I don't even know what video is going to come out tomorrow, so we will see together.